Hi there, today I'm going to show you a walkthrough of the SSM Samsung Security Manager software, the user interface. There are three main interfaces. There's the live, the event, and the search. We'll start with the live viewer here. We have our site list on the left hand side that we can configure, and then under there we have our listing of each device. If it's an NVR or DVR, we can open them up and you'll see your listing of all your cameras from there. And we can either double click a device, or you can click a device and drag it to a specific square to start viewing the video. You can take a camera, you can double click to view that camera full screen, double click to go back. You can also click on the change tile pattern to choose different patterns from the list. If you want to remove a camera, you can click the delete button on your keyboard, or you can click the delete all tiles button. If you have a fisheye camera, you can dewarp it by right clicking and selecting one of the modes from the fisheye view mode menu. Then you can click and drag to move around. If you have a quad or a single PTZ, you can move each one individually around. The modes you will have will depend on if the camera is ceiling mounted or wall mounted. So here's a ceiling mounted camera, and here's a wall mount camera, and you'll see there's the fisheye image. We can then choose our dewarping mode. We have a single panorama, a single PTZ, or the panorama plus 2 PTZs. And you can use your mouse wheel to zoom in. If you have a pan tilt zoom camera, you can click on the arrows on the image, or you can use the pan tilt zoom controls. There's also the area zoom icon that allows you to draw a box on the screen, and the camera will zoom in to that area. You then have all the other pan tilt zoom controls, such as presets, patterns or trace, groups, swing, and auto pan and tour, and finally auto tracking. If you have multiple monitors, you can click the multi-monitor button. You can choose the number of monitors you want to view, and then it will open up another window that you can drag to another monitor. You can then take cameras and drag it to that monitor there. Or I'll show you in a minute how to select different layouts that we've created and put it to that monitor. You'll see the status icons next to each camera show you what type of camera. Is it a dome camera, a box camera, a pan tilt zoom camera? And then the color of those icons also tells you if the camera is recording or not. So the red dot indicates that the camera is recording. You'll see that red dot is also shown on the video tile for each camera as well. We have sequence options here, that if you've created the sequence, you can run through those different cameras there. And we have the on-screen display. We can turn that on or off to get rid of the interface overlaid on each camera. If we have alarm events, we can click this button to reset all those alarms. If we're watching something live, we can click the snapshot button to capture a picture. If you want to print instead of taking a snapshot, you can hit the print button, and you'll get the standard print dialog after you choose a couple options here. You can put in the camera title, you can put a description in, and embed the time and the date. Hit OK. And now we get the standard Windows print dialog box. We have an option to record video, so if you see something happening, you can click that button. We have the record icon here. It's now recording that one camera directly to my PC. Click it again to turn it off, or you can have it automatically turn off after a predetermined amount of time. There's device recording. If you have manual recording on your recorder, we can turn that on or off as well. We have our digital zoom. We can zoom in or out. We can then pan around the picture, zoom out, or reset my zoom. And we also have brightness controls and contrast controls. There's an alarm control panel here that if we need to activate alarms that are configured on our devices, we can double click and you'll see the alarm icon turns red. Double click again to turn it off. We have our layouts. Layouts are camera groupings that we've pre-configured on the server by the administrator, which cameras and where to view them and which display pattern. We can also select which monitor to display this on. Right now it's on monitor 1. If we choose a different monitor and double click, you'll see that will happen now on this other monitor if we have that. We can also have map layouts, and this is where we can have a picture that we import, and we have icons overlaid, and we can also have a map with additional cameras at the same time. With the map, we can move around the map. We can click and drag with the left mouse button. You can use the right mouse button to change the 3D aspect of it, the tilting and the rotation. You can also, if you hover your mouse on the top right, get access to the panning, the zoom, and the rotation as well. And you can always hit the middle button to reset it back to where the default is. You can see the status of a camera. The color will tell you if it's alarming or not. You can double click on a camera to view it. If you shift click on the map, you can then select multiple cameras. Shift click, we're going to select our cameras. Let's go to a different. There we go. If we're not already viewing the cameras, we can double click on a camera and view the video for that camera. If we're viewing just the map, we can click and drag the cameras, and we can then view the video in a pop-up. You can double click to go to a larger size, and a larger size, double click to go back to the smaller size. If it's a pan tilt camera, you typically also then have your pan tilt zoom controls overlaid here as well. To get rid of it, just click the delete button on the keyboard. There's lots of different types of maps you can create. And you can also see how the icon shows the field of view of where the camera is pointing. That can be very useful as well. You can also have links to other maps. So these are map links. I can double click on a link. That will take me to the map I have associated with that. And then you can also have a map link to go back to that original map. We can also have map groups. And a map group automatically takes you to the first map in that group, and then it shows you an icon here for each of the maps underneath it. So we can double click to easily get to that other map. You'll see the map icons are flashing and the camera icons are flashing, indicating that camera has an alarm of some sort that's been activated. And you can see those alarms down here in terms of motion detection or face detection or whatever it might be. You can right click on a camera and view the properties about that camera. You can also right click and go to Instant Player to go to recorded video for the most recent event that occurred. You can then put in details, put in a status, hit confirm, and that gets logged and resets the alarm for that camera. You can see there's the motion detection. There we go. If we have a pan tilt zoom camera, we have our PTZ controls. Let me pull up a camera here. PTZ, we've got our pan, tilt, and zoom controls here that we can use. We can go to various presets if they've been programmed in the camera. Trace, pattern, group, swing, auto pan, and tour. We also have auto tracking buttons down here if the camera supports it. Now we also have something called favorites. Favorites are things just like layouts, but these are created by the user. What we can do is we can display the cameras in whatever pattern I want. So let's go and let's go bring up one of our layouts. And then what we can do is we can move cameras around whatever pattern we might want them in. We can change the pattern if we want as well. And then we go to favorites, we right click, hit add, and that saves it on the fly. That saves it to the server with my configuration, with my user account as well. We also have events coming in here. We can hit the pin, the scroll lock, to stop them from scrolling if I want to be able to go in and see what's going on. We can also hit the clear button to initialize that and get rid of all the events that are in the list. Now this is just live events. They're still being logged to the server and we can search them. Show you that shortly. And if I don't want to view every type of event coming in, only want to view more critical events, we can also select which type of events we do or don't want to see, and only the checked events will come in for the future. Now any of these events that do come in, we can right click, well, we can double click on it and it takes us to the instant viewer to view live video for that camera. And we have our zoom in and zoom out. We can put in information into here and confirm that as well. If we right click, we can have instant player or instant viewer. An instant player allows us to go to playback for when that event occurred. And we have our standard VCR playback controls here. Again, we can put in text and a status. We also have an audio broadcasting, which allows me to select a group, if I've created them, a group of cameras, and we can either play a sound file or talk with the microphone on my computer and broadcast that out to a group of cameras. And then we also have the virtual matrix controller. If you're using that function, we can change the patterns and push out video to walls of monitors using the virtual matrix function. That's the live screen. Let's go to the search screen. Now the search screen comes up on another window. We could drag that to another monitor if we wanted to. In the search screen, we can select our search mode. Basic search, we can select our device. We select one or more recorders. We select the year and the month, or we can use the arrows on the calendar. And then you have to hit the load button. That goes out to the recorder and sees where there's recorded video. You'll see the dates have changed the color for the background. Click on a day that has a recorded video. And then the timeline bar at the bottom here will populate, showing each camera when there's video and the color coding for what type of recorded video. So we can select a camera, we can zoom in, we can double click somewhere on a camera on the timeline bar, that will start playback. We can select another camera and we can have multiple cameras playing back at the same time. Now once we're in playback, we can use this timeline bar here at the middle of the screen here. And give it a couple seconds and that will fill in. Now if some cameras are recording on motion only, you might not have all the cameras with video. Once we're in playback, we can again change our multi-screen patterns. We can double click a camera to go full screen. So here we're viewing our timeline bar. If we want to go to a specific time and date, you can type in a specific time, hit the search, and the recording will jump to the time that we put in. If we want to view a list of events that have occurred, we can click the list button. And now we have a list of each and every event that has occurred on the recorder. We can double click. You'll see the type has the icons listed there. And now we have our list of events there. Once we see video that we might want to back up, we can then click the backup icon here. And then we can select one or more cameras. We can select a start time and an end time. We tell it where we want to save our video to. We put in the file format of what type of video, the Samsung format or the AVI. The Samsung SEC format, we can also password protect the video. And then you would hit backup to start. Now if we want to filter our list of events, we can choose category and we can select different types of video. And the color coding can be chosen in the configuration manager as well. Once you've made a change, hit the download button, click the day on the calendar, and you'll see the changes there. Now that's the basic search. Advanced search allows us to, again, select a device. Now some of these things you'll see are only applicable for certain model recorders, so only the recording server is available. Click the download button again, click a day on the calendar. We've got our video here, and what we can do is we can now draw a passing line and say, show me when something has changed across that direction or entered an area that we draw, either one. Entering, exiting, or motion detection. start time and end time, and then we hit search, and the recording server goes through and quickly searches all the recorded video that has occurred there. Now the motion search will go and you set an interval such as 1 minute, and it will show you a thumbnail for every minute. So if you're trying to see when something might have happened, you can quickly dive into that video. You can then double click on a thumbnail to go to playback of that time. And then the heat map search is supported by the SRN 4000. But it has to be enabled on that camera, so may not be configured. The masking search allows me to do a search just like before. And what I can do is I can draw an area on the screen, a privacy mask, and I can also put in a specific time. So if I wanted the privacy mask to come at a certain time there, and then I can back up this video, tell it where to back it up to, and I can have an optional password that's going to back it up with that privacy mask. You can have multiple masks, and they can be occurring at different times if you choose as well. Folder search allows you to search on your hard drive for recorded video that you've already downloaded. So you can then search by time, by date, by type, and do easy playback. And then we also have POS searching. So if you have a point of sale device connected to a recorder, you can search based on keywords to look for voids, transactions, things like that. And then finally, the event viewer. We have live events and search events. So live events works just like before. They'll start coming in. We can view the details down here. We have our playback controls as well. We can again type in text and hit confirm. You can also view the history for that if there's when it was recorded, when the confirmation went in, things like that. We can filter our devices, which devices to see. We can view the sensors, the alarm inputs and the alarm outputs. And we can also filter based on event type, just like before. Now, event search, this is where I'm searching recorded history. So we have all the same options here. We still put in our criteria. We hit search. It's now going to fill in my records here. I have 352 records that match. We can select a record, double click to go to playback. There we go. And then once we've gone through here, we have a download or a backup button here. And this allows me to back up for safekeeping. And hit backup. So now we have a backup, and you can see we can open that up. And it's a CSV file with a whole lot of data in it. But what we can then do is go to the report viewer, hit view report, and we can see some nice color-coded reports that we can then generate and export. You'll see it's showing me what my criteria were, how many events matched my criteria, which types of events they were. We can view color-coded graphs and charts. Page 1, page 2. And then when we're all set, we can export to Excel, PDF, or Word. We also have shortcuts that we can add. And to create a shortcut, just click on the word shortcut, and it'll ask you what the name and what the path is. And these shortcuts you can see are very easy. Just click and it will launch whatever program you put in. If you want to get rid of a shortcut, just click the X and that will remove it. You can also view the health, the status of your system by clicking on the little first aid kit here. And it will show you the status of your console, each console and configuration manager, how many there are, who's connected, what user, what IP address they're at, and various statistics about the PC. Same thing for your media gateway, your system manager, each device, if they're connected or not, and finally your RAID status if you're running RAID.